Hello, my dear friends. As someone who's walked this earth for a fair few decades, I've learned an important lesson. Time is far more valuable than money or material things, especially after 70. Yet so many of us waste it on things that really don't matter anymore. Today, I'll share 12 of those things, and I promise the last one might change the way you approach life forever. So stick with me until the end. 1. Worrying about what others think you know? I used to spend an enormous amount of time worrying about what people thought of me. Were they judging how I dressed, what I said, how I behaved? It's exhausting. Truly exhausting. And so many of us carry this burden well into our later years. But let me tell you something. The older you get, the more you realize how little it all matters. People are far too busy worrying about their own lives to pay as much attention to yours as you think. Sure, I may gossip or make a comment here and there, but those fleeting thoughts aren't worth your time. Why let someone else's opinion, which they probably won't remember in a week, dictate how you live your life? If you're constantly worried about your appearance, let it go. Wear clothes that make you happy, not ones that conform to outdated ideas of what's appropriate for your age. Always wanted to wear that bright red lipstick or colorful scarf? Go ahead, you've earned it. Want to pick up a new hobby that seems unconventional or quirky? Do it. No. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. But what matters most is how you feel. Ask yourself, am I happy? Am I content? If the answer is yes, that's all you need. Worrying about others' opinions is like carrying a heavy suitcase filled with nothing but air. Drop it. You'll feel so much lighter and freer when you start living for yourself. 2. Keeping up with every chore. Let me paint a picture for you. You wake up in the morning, and instead of enjoying your cup of tea or coffee as the sun rises, your mind immediately goes to your to-do list. The laundry's piling up. The kitchen floor needs scrubbing. There's dust on the shelves, and let's not forget the bathrooms. It's endless, isn't it? For years, I fell into the trap of believing that my home needed to be a museum-level showcase of cleanliness at all times. Everything had to be in its place, spotless and perfect. But do you know what that brought me? Tired hands, a sore back, and far too many hours spent chasing an impossible standard. Here's the thing. At this stage of life, your time and energy are precious commodities, far more valuable than spotless floors or gleaming windows. What does it matter if there's a little dust on the bookshelf or if the dishes sit in the sink a few extra hours? None of these things affect the quality of your life or the memories you make. Instead of striving for a spotless house every day, focus on a lived-in home, a place that feels warm, comfortable, and welcoming. Delegate chores where you can. Ask your family for help if they're around, or invest in a cleaner if it's within your means. And if neither is an option, tackle the essentials and let the rest go. What's more valuable than spotless counters is the time you spend doing things you truly love. Imagine sitting on the porch chatting with a friend or reading a novel you've been meaning to start. Take a walk in the park. Call a loved one. Those moments are the ones that truly enrich your life and make it meaningful. Life is too short, especially after 70, to spend it chasing dust bunnies or folding every single piece of laundry just so. Save your energy for living, loving, and being fully present in the beautiful moments that matter most. 3. Holding on to grudges. I can tell you one thing for certain. Grudges are like anchors dragging behind you. They weigh you down, hold you back, and prevent you from moving forward freely. Yet for years, I carried a bag full of them. Disappointments from friends who let me down, arguments with family members that never got resolved, and even some strangers who probably didn't know I held a grudge in the first place. But let me ask you something. Is it worth it? Is holding on to anger or resentment truly making your life better? Most of the time, the answer is no. When you keep replaying those old hurts in your head, you're not punishing the person who wronged you. you're only punishing yourself. You might think forgiveness means letting the other person off the hook. It doesn't. Nah. Forgiveness is about setting yourself free. That doesn't mean you have to be friends with everyone or invite toxic people back into your life. It just means releasing the pain so it doesn't hold power over you anymore. I learned to let go of grudges by asking myself one simple question. Will this matter when I'm gone? The answer was almost always no. And when I started forgiving, whether it was silently in my heart or with an actual conversation, it was like releasing a 1,000-pound weight. Suddenly, I felt lighter, more at peace, and even healthier. So do yourself a favor. Let go of that grudge you've been carrying. It's never too late to embrace peace. 4. Trying to please everyone. Oh, this one's a real trap, isn't it? Most of us, especially as women, are raised to be caretakers, peacemakers, and pleasers. We put everyone else's happiness above our own. Our children, our partners, our friends, even strangers. And while there's nothing wrong with being kind and considerate, there comes a point when trying to please everyone starts to take more than it gives. Think about it. How often do you say yes to things you don't want to do? How often do you go along with someone else's plans because you don't want to upset them, even though it leaves you exhausted or unfulfilled? For years I thought saying no was selfish. But do you know what's truly selfish? Expecting someone to set themselves on fire to keep everyone else warm. At this stage in life, your time and energy are finite. You can't give endlessly without running dry. So I started asking myself, do I truly want to do this? If the answer is no, I've learned to politely decline. It's uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to it, but you'll be surprised how much people respect you when you're honest. Pleasing everyone isn't just impossible, it's unnecessary. The people who truly care about you will want you to prioritize your own happiness and well-being. And those who don't, well, their approval isn't worth your time. So stop trying to spread yourself thin for others. Focus on pleasing the one person who really deserves it. You. 5. Buying things you don't need. I used to be a collector of stuff. Clothes, kitchen gadgets, knickknacks for the house, you name it. I probably had it. And for years, I convinced myself that having the latest, newest, or prettiest things would somehow make life more fulfilling. But when you hit 70, something shifts. You begin to realize that all that stuff, the things you've been accumulating over the years, doesn't bring the happiness or satisfaction it once promised. Think about it. Do you really need 5 different sizes of mixing bowls when you only use one? Or a closet packed so full of clothes that half of them haven't been touched in years? The truth is, these things often become more of a burden than a blessing. They take up space, they're costly to maintain, and worst of all, they pull your focus away from what truly matters. Instead of buying more, think about what you already have and what you can let go of. Decluttering can be so freeing, not just for your home but for your mind as well. Save your money for experiences. Take a day trip with friends. Go out for a lovely meal. Or attend that painting class you've been curious about. These are the things that enrich your life, create memories, and don't clutter up your shelves. At this stage in life, focus on quality over quantity. A simple, peaceful environment is far more rewarding than piles of things you hardly use. Remember, when it comes down to it, you can't take any of it with you. So spend wisely and invest in what truly brings you joy. 6. Overthinking the past. The past. It has a way of creeping into your thoughts when you least expect it, doesn't it? A decision you regret, a moment you wish you could change, or even a missed opportunity that lingers in your mind for years. I would replay certain events in my head like a broken record, thinking, if only I'd done things differently. But here's the thing. No amount of thinking or rethinking will ever change what's already done. The past is like an old photo album. You can flip through it, reflect on the moments, but you can't step back into those pictures. And do you know what all that overthinking does? It robs you of the present moment, the only time you actually have any control over. Instead of focusing on what you can't change, think about what you've learned. Those mistakes you dwell on, they've shaped you into the person you are today. The missed opportunities, they taught you resilience and adaptability. Every experience, good or bad, has contributed to your wisdom. Now when I feel myself slipping into that what-if spiral, I gently remind myself that the past is over, but my story isn't. I still have chapters to write, moments to enjoy, and lessons to share. You don't have to forget your past, but don't let it control you either. Accept it, learn from it, and then let it rest where it belongs, behind you. Your energy is better spent making the most of the life you have now. 7. Staying quiet about your needs. For much of my life, I stayed quiet about what I really wanted or needed. Maybe it was out of politeness. Maybe out of fear of being seen as selfish or difficult. I'd let small inconveniences pile up, telling myself, it's not a big deal, or I don't want to bother anyone. But do you know where that gets you? Frustrated, lonely, and sometimes resentful. As you get older, you realize that life is too short to keep tiptoeing around your needs. You don't have time for people to guess what you're feeling or what you require. You have to spell it out. Whether it's needing help around the house, a desire to spend more quality time with your family, or even asking the waiter to redo an order that's not right. Speaking up isn't selfish. It's necessary. I used to think that voicing my needs would drive people away. In reality, I found the opposite to be true. People appreciate honesty, especially when it comes from a place of respect and kindness. And let me tell you, nothing is as empowering as realizing that your feelings, your comfort, and your happiness are worth the effort. So whether it's advocating for yourself at a doctor's appointment, asking for a bit more attention from loved ones, or setting boundaries to protect your time, remember this: your needs matter. If you don't voice them, no one else will. Stop staying quiet. It's time to let your voice be heard. 8. Comparing yourself to others. This is a tough one, isn't it? We've all done it at some point. Looked at someone else's life and thought, why don't I have that? Why don't I look like that? Why haven't I achieved that? It's a dangerous game. And let me tell you, the older you get, the more it steals your joy if you let it. Maybe you see a friend who seems to have the perfect family, or a neighbor who's always off traveling while you're staying home. Maybe it's something as small as seeing someone your age who looks younger or seems more vibrant. Whatever it is, comparisons can leave you feeling inadequate, like you're falling behind. But here's the truth: you're not. What you see on the surface is never the full picture. That perfectly looking family might be dealing with struggles they don't share. That well-traveled neighbor, maybe they're lonely and trying to fill a void. And that younger-looking peer, perhaps they're battling insecurities you can't see. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you happier today? Healthier? More at peace? These are the measures that matter. Life isn't a competition, especially not after 70. It's a journey, and each of us walks a different path. When I catch myself comparing, I try to shift my focus. I ask, what am I grateful for in my own life? Gratitude is the best antidote to comparison. Remember, your story is uniquely yours, and it's worth celebrating, not comparing. 9. Worrying about what others think. Oh, how many years did I waste worrying about what other people thought of me? I bet you've done the same. Wondering if people thought I looked good enough, said the right thing, or made the right choices. It's exhausting, isn't it? And here's the kicker. Most people are so wrapped up in their own worries, they barely have time to judge you anyway. When I hit 70, a switch flipped. I realized I didn't have the energy or the time to keep molding myself to meet everyone else's expectations. Think about it. Does their opinion pay your bills? Does it bring you joy? Will their judgment matter 5 years from now? Probably not. I've come to understand that the opinions of others don't define me. What defines me are the choices I make and the way I treat people. Instead of worrying about impressing others, I focus on living in alignment with my values: kindness, honesty, and respect for myself and those around me. So the next time you find yourself agonizing over what someone might think, ask yourself this: does their opinion improve my life, or is it just noise? Most of the time it's the latter. Let it go. Wear the bright-colored blouse you love. Speak your mind in conversations. And if someone doesn't like it, that's their business, not yours. 10. Saying yes when you mean no. This one might hit a little close to home. How many times have you said yes to something you didn't want to do just to avoid disappointing someone or feeling guilty? If you're anything like I used to be, the answer is too many times to count. But let me tell you, after 70, the word no becomes your best friend. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your time, your energy, or your peace of mind. When you're always saying yes, you're giving away pieces of yourself, pieces you could be using to do what you actually want, like reading that book on your nightstand, gardening, or just sitting in the sun with a cup of tea. Saying no doesn't make you rude or unkind. It makes you honest. And the people who truly care about you will understand that. Sure, you might ruffle a few feathers at first. People aren't always used to hearing no, especially if you've been a people pleaser for most of your life. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. When I started saying no, I found a sense of freedom I'd never experienced before. I didn't feel trapped or obligated anymore. And you know what else I noticed? People actually started respecting my boundaries. So take this advice. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, give yourself permission to say no kindly but firmly. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself at this stage in life. 11. Trying to fix everyone else's problems. Oh, how often I used to think it was my job to solve everyone else's problems. If a family member was struggling, I'd rush to offer advice or step in to help. If a friend was going through a tough time, I'd spend hours worrying about how to make it better. At the time, I thought it was kindness. But looking back, I see that it was me taking on burdens that were never mine to carry. Here's the truth. You can't fix everything for everyone. People need to solve their own problems to grow and learn. As much as you may want to swoop in and save the day, it's often better to offer support and let them navigate their challenges on their own. Your role can be to listen, to encourage, and to provide perspective. But it's not to carry their load. After 70, your energy becomes so precious you can't afford to waste it fretting over things you can't control. Trust me when I say that letting go is liberating. When I stopped inserting myself into everyone's issues, I found peace I hadn't felt in years. You're not abandoning people by stepping back. You're giving them the space to grow stronger. And most importantly, you're honoring your own needs. Let others take charge of their lives while you focus on living yours with joy and tranquility. 12. Neglecting your own happiness. I saved the most important one for last because, believe me, it's the easiest to overlook. How often do we put everyone else's needs before our own? We raise kids, take care of partners, work tirelessly, and somehow convince ourselves that our own happiness can wait. And you know what? Time flies. Suddenly, you're 70, and you realize that someday never came. Happiness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you choose every single day. At this stage in life, you deserve to prioritize yourself. That might mean carving out time to do what you love, whether it's painting, gardening, traveling, or even sitting in a chair with a good book and no interruptions. Maybe it's reconnecting with an old friend, picking up a new hobby, or simply saying, I deserve to be happy too. Whatever it looks like for you, make it a priority. The days we have left aren't endless, but they can still be full of joy if we choose to make them so. When you stop wasting time on the things that don't matter and start focusing on what truly brings you happiness, your whole perspective changes. Life feels lighter, more vibrant, and more meaningful. You're not just existing. you're truly living. And that, my friends, is what it's all about. If you found these insights helpful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to sign up for my channel. Link is given in the description. Until next time, take care of yourself. You deserve it.